Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today I am going to talk about cold hardy plants. Gardening in a cold climate isn't always easy. Long winters, late frosts, and short growing seasons can make it feel like nothing will survive. In Zone 3 conditions, where temperatures can drop well below freezing, not every plant makes it through the winter. But over time, you start to notice something different. Some plants don't just survive. They come back stronger year after year. These are plants that are truly hardy to Zone 3 conditions. They don't need perfect soil and they don't need constant care. If you choose the right perennials, your garden becomes more reliable over time and a lot easier to manage. This video is a collection of perennials that can handle real conditions: cold winters, dry soil, and unpredictable weather. These aren't perfect show garden plants. These are real plants for real backyards. If you're planting this spring and want something that lasts, these are a good place to start. Number 1. Coneflower or Echinacea. Coneflower or Echinacea is one of those plants that just handles whatever you throw at it. It grows well even in poor soil, doesn't need much watering, and survives cold winters without any special care. You'll notice the petals aren't always perfect, but that's part of what makes it feel natural in a real garden. Number 2. Black-eyed Susan or Rudbeckia hirta or yellow coneflower. Black-eyed Susans are incredibly reliable. Once they establish, they spread slowly and fill in empty spaces with bright color. They don't need constant attention, and even in dry conditions, they keep blooming. It's the kind of plant you can almost forget about, and it still shows up every year. Number 3. Peonies or Peonia. Peonies take patience at the beginning, but once they are established, they can last for decades. The blooms are large and heavy, sometimes even bending the stems. They come back stronger each year, and over time, they become one of the most dependable plants in the garden. Number 4. Daylilies or Hemerocallis, or also called ditch lily. Daylilies or Hemerocallis are one of the easiest perennials you can grow. They tolerate different soil conditions, handle cold weather well, and don't need much maintenance. You'll often see multiple blooms at different stages, which gives the plant a natural, constantly changing look throughout the season. Number 5. Lupins, commonly known as lupin, lupine, or regionally bluebonnet. Lupins, or also known as lupin, lupine, or regionally bluebonnet, grow tall and naturally add height to your garden. They do especially well in cooler climates and don't require much attention once they are established. The flower spikes develop gradually, and the mix of colors gives a slightly wild, natural feel rather than a perfectly controlled look. Number 6. Shasta Daisy or Leucanthemum superbum. Shasta Daisy or Leucanthemum superbum are simple, but that's exactly why they work so well. They're tough enough for cold climates and don't need much care. The flowers aren't always perfectly shaped, and that gives them a more natural, relaxed appearance in a real backyard setting. Number 7. Blanket flower or Gaillardia. Blanket flower or Gaillardia are great if your soil is dry or not very rich. They handle heat and sun without any issues, and the colors stay strong throughout the season. Even when the petals start to wear slightly, they still add a lot of character to the garden. Number 8. Columbines or Aquilegia. Columbines or Aquilegia has a softer, more natural look compared to many other flowers. It tends to grow in a slightly unstructured way, which helps it blend into the garden. Once it's established, it doesn't need much attention and often recedes on its own. Number 9. Bee balm or Monarda. Bee balm or Monarda brings a lot of activity into your garden. As soon as it starts blooming, you'll notice bees and other pollinators showing up. The flowers aren't perfectly shaped, but that wild look is exactly what makes them stand out. Number 10. Iceland poppy or Oreomca nudicalis or Synonym papaver nudical. Iceland poppy or Oreomca nudicalis or Synonym papaver nudical are well suited for cooler climates. Their petals are thin and slightly delicate, often moving in the wind. They bloom early in the season and bring soft color at a time when most plants are just starting to grow. Number 11, hostas, also known as plantain lilies. Hostas, also known as plantain lilies, are a solid choice for shaded areas where many plants struggle. Their large leaves fill space quickly, even if the soil isn't perfect. You'll often notice small imperfections on the leaves, but that's completely normal in a real garden. Number 12, coral bells or heuchera. Coral bells or heuchera are grown mostly for their leaves rather than their flowers. The colors can vary from deep red to bright green, and that adds contrast even when nothing else is blooming. They're low maintenance and work well in both sun and partial shade. Number 13, sedum, also known as stonecrop. Sedum, also known as stonecrop, is one of the most forgiving plants you can grow. It stores water in its leaves, so it handles dry conditions without any problems. Even if you forget about it for a while, it continues to grow and hold its shape. Number 14, lamb's ear or Stachys byzantina, or the lamb's ear monte plant or woolly hedge nettle. Lamb's ear or Stachys byzantina, or the lamb's ear monte plant or woolly hedge nettle, stands out because of its soft, fuzzy texture. The leaves have a silvery tone and feel very different from most plants. It spreads slowly and works well as a ground cover, especially in dry areas. Number 15, artemisia, also known as mugwort or wormwood or sagebrush. Artemisia adds a softer look to the garden with its fine, silvery leaves. It doesn't grow in a perfect shape, which actually helps create a more natural feel. It also handles dry soil and cold weather quite well. Number 16, delphiniums. Delphiniums grow tall and add strong vertical structure to a garden. The flowers develop along long stems, and sometimes the plant needs support if the wind picks up. They're a good choice if you want to add height without crowding other plants. Number 17, hollyhocks. Hollyhocks are often seen growing along fences or walls. They can get quite tall and give a classic, slightly rustic feel. The blooms appear along the stem over time, which creates a natural layered look. Number 18, Jopai weed or Eutrochium purpureum. Jopai weed or Eutrochium purpureum has a more natural, almost wild appearance. It grows tall and produces clusters of soft pink flowers that attract pollinators. It's a good option if you want your garden to feel less structured. Number 19, meadow rue or thalictrum. Meadow rue or thalictrum is light and airy, with delicate stems and small flowers. It doesn't dominate the space, but instead adds a soft background texture. It works well when mixed with more solid, structured plants. Number 20, Russian sage or Salvia yongyai, previously known as Perovskia triplicifolia. Russian sage or Salvia yongyai, previously known as Perovskia triplicifolia, is very resilient. It handles dry soil, strong sun, and cold winters without much trouble. The plant has a loose shape, with small purple flowers that create a soft haze of color. Number 21, yarrow or Achillea millefolium. Yarrow or Achillea millefolium is known for growing in almost any condition. It tolerates poor soil, dry weather, and cold climates. The flat flower clusters give it a simple, natural look that fits well in most gardens. Number 22, Siberian iris or Iris sibirica. Siberian iris or Iris sibirica brings a more refined look, but it's still very hardy. The flowers are elegant, and the long leaves stay upright throughout the season. It's a good balance between beauty and durability. Number 23, creeping phlox or Phlox stolonifera. Creeping phlox or Phlox stolonifera spreads along the ground and fills in empty areas. When it blooms, it creates a dense layer of color. It's especially useful for covering edges or spaces where other plants don't grow easily. Number 24, Pasque flower or pulsatilla. Pasque flower or pulsatilla, also known as wind flower or prairie crocus, or Easter flower, and meadow anemone is one of the earliest signs of spring. It often blooms when there's still some snow on the ground. The plant is small, with soft, fuzzy stems that protect it from the cold. Number 25. Astilbe, also known as false goatsbeard or false spira. Astilbe, also known as false goatsbeard or false spirea, works well in shaded areas where moisture is higher. The feathery blooms add texture rather than bold color. It's a good plant for balancing out heavier, denser foliage. Over time, a garden changes. Not because you keep replacing plants, but because the right ones stay. Perennials that are hardy to Zone 3 conditions don't need much once they are established. They adapt, they spread, and they come back on their own every year. And that's really the goal. Not to start over each season, but to build something that lasts. If you're just getting started, don't try to plant everything at once. Pick a few hardy plants, let them establish and grow from there. After a few seasons, you'll start to notice the difference. Less work, more growth, and a garden that feels more natural. A Zone 3 garden doesn't have to be difficult. You just have to choose the right plants. If this helped, you can always come back to this list when you're planning your next season. See you next time, bye. And if you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel.